I also wanted to get both your thoughts on the A-League, right? So there's been a bit of talk about the A-League, Australia beating Tunisia, the side that Tunisia had. Is the A-League underrated, Spider?
In which regard?
In regards to, we look at that match against Tunisia, and I think a lot of football experts came into the match going, Tunisia have got a good side, got a lot of good players playing in Europe, in some, a spattering of players across European competition, and Australia got the job done 1-0. Is the A-League a higher level than people give it credit for?
Bloody oath it is. In the A-League, a lot of European players that come to the A-League, they think they're coming on a jolly up. Right? They do. They think they're coming on a jolly up. When you tell them that we've got a three-month pre-season, mate, they go, no problem, coach, I'll be ready in 3 weeks. But they're kidding themselves, because the one thing that you must be able to do in Australia to play in the A-League is run. Because if you cannot run, you cannot play in the A-League, because it is a league full of transition. And you've got to be able to run. And the best leagues in the world are leagues that are full of transitions. The Dutch league's full of transitions, the German league's full of transitions, the French league's full of transitions, because the ball gets turned over so much that you play at a high intensity. The difference is, in Australia, we play in the summer. So it's even harder because it's hot. These guys in Europe, at least it's cool, so they can run for 90 minutes without dying of heat stroke. Our boys die of heat stroke out here and they keep going. So, mate, it's a hard league.
And it is also just the one thing that continually comes back to me is just the fact that we seem to hold our game here as Australian football fans to a much higher standard than we do when we're watching, some of the games. Like, I've watched some absolutely shocking Premier League games. I think of clubs like Bournemouth, Norwich. All these sides just make amateur level mistakes, but you forgive it because it's being played under the Premier League brand. Whereas here, you look at some of the players we've had, I think back, Thomas Broich, Milos Ninkovic. We've had phenomenal players here that we just don't seem to appreciate. And now look at someone like Craig Goodwin. He's been Australia's best player in the tournament so far for me.
Ain't it funny when you mention the A-League and you don't mention Alessandro Del Piero?
Oh. Well, look, I'm from Brisbane, so of course I'm going to say Thomas Broich.
But look, the A-League, there's good games and bad games in every league. And you're spot on what you said. Because we're so Anglo-orientated and so Premier League orientated, and the Championship and the First Division in England, mate, some of those games there, you might as well just get a knife and poke yourself in the eye. Mate, they're that bad. They're that bad. But we don't say anything about it yet. We get to see one A-League game a week because we don't play enough games. And as soon as it's one bad game, the A-League's rubbish. That's not the case. It's actually not the case.